We're gathered together again. Carefree cooks everywhere. Hey, it's Chef Todd Moore. We are exploring the hows and whys behind cooking yet again. And today, left short or leftovers? How much should you make? That's the topic of our Tuesday Talk Live, and I see a lot of people. There was a queue to get in today. Hey, Jim Shaw is with us. Hi, Margaret from High Spire, PA. Hey, Charles is here from Fancy Gap, Virginia, and Carla is joining us. And Diane, this is really, really good. Hey, it's Tuesday. It's noon. That's when we do the Tuesday Talk Lives, right? And we get together because we're carefree cooks. If you are not looking at this on Tuesday at noon, then you should go to webcookingclasses.com/live and register for the message alert system and become a carefree cook with the rest of us, because we create our own recipes. We bring our friends and family together with our great cooking. And plus we learn every time we cook. That defines our own cooking styles because we practice pro methods. And you know what? We like cooking. We're proud of it. Others are impressed by it. We don't see it as a chore. And if you've missed any previous Tuesday Talk Live over the past year or so, go to my Pinterest account or Instagram and you will see them there. Hey, everybody, the holidays are in full swing. It is one of the most exciting times of the year for me, for cooking. I get very excited because this is an opportunity for me to pull people into our Carefree Cooks community because they have to cook. You know, so many people, even if you don't cook all year long, you got to make a pie to bring to the relatives. You got to do something for the potluck. Oh my goodness. Are you the person that is bringing the paper goods and the knives and the forks to the potluck? Or even worse, how about when they hand out all the chores and they're like, Sally, yeah, you bring the paper plates. They know that you're not cooking. So we're going to turn that all around. I'm going to be with you all through the holidays to make sure that I give you all the tips, all the techniques that I teach in culinary school and give them to you as a home cook so that you can take advantage of those things. And that's what we're going to talk about today. First, I've got a true or false for you in the comment section below. Just give me the word true or false. And here's the statement. You should always bring meat to room temperature before cooking it. Okay, I hear this from people a lot. I bring the meat to room temperature first. Is this statement true or false? Should you do that? Is that an important thing? And I'm going to give you the answer at the very end. More people joining us. Susan's with us. Carol is with us. Charles, we've got half and half, trues and false. Looks like it's trending a little more false right now. Where can I page down to see the other comments? There we go. I need to click on that. Hey, Donald Frederick, glad to see you again. Also, glad to see your name. Harleen, let's see. Oh, it scrolled too fast. I missed what they said. Okay, yeah, false, true. Okay, we'll get to that at the end. I'm not just going to watch the scroll go by today. One of the pro-level skills that I can help you with that we teach in culinary school is one of the most important things for a professional chef. And this really has to do with the whole idea of culinary math. Now, culinary students are shocked how much math goes into planning meals. Now, it's one thing to be a line cook, okay? And they set up all your food for you. You throw the food together and then you serve it out there. It's another thing to be the sous chef or an assistant or a lead cook in some way, because then you come in earlier in the morning and you have to make the soup. But you also have to look at the previous day's sales about how much soup was sold, how much soup was almost a tongue twister, how much soup you sell generally, and then, maybe it's raining that day, or maybe it's really, really hot, and then you kind of gauge, we're not going to sell as much soup. There's some math involved in that. Then you take it a step higher, and you're the executive chef, or you're a catering company owner, or you're a personal chef, like many of our carefree cooks are. This is the profit and loss in your business, because you have to figure out, how much do I have to buy? What's the cooking loss going to be? What will that yield? How much do I need? What do I charge for it? I can't make something for $10 and then sell it for $9, right? So there is so much math that goes into culinary school that it kills a lot of culinary students. They just think they're going to be able to whip up food, but this goes to portioning, plate sizing, profit or loss in your restaurant, and when it comes to your home, this is where the answer comes to of left short or left over, and how much should you be making this holiday season. So it devilishly, when I see a weakness in my culinary students, I go right after it. If I think they're not strong in culinary math, I will ask them again and again and again and again. Repetition, the key to learning. So I have questions on my exams, things like this. You're serving 16 people for dinner, and you estimate that they're going to get 4 ounces of gravy each. So the question then comes up, get rid of that. So then the question then comes up, well, how many cups of gravy is this? All right, you're bringing 16 people to dinner, 4 ounces of gravy each. How many cups of gravy do you need? Now, in the U.S., we're one of the few, and I guess in the U.K., who's still on this imperial system. The rest of you with milliliters and liters and stuff, this all becomes so much easier. In culinary school, they have to know how many teaspoons in a tablespoon, how many tablespoons in a quarter cup, how many cups in a pint, pints in a quart, quarts in a gallon, ounces in a gallon. What does a gallon of water weigh? Have you ever thought of that? Anybody in the comments, do you know what a gallon of water weighs on a scale? That's a whole math problem unto itself. So how many cups would you prepare? So if you're going to prepare a finished cups of gravy, which is going to be roux or any other thickening agent, plus a broth or a stock, well then how many pints of broth do you need to result in that many cups of gravy? You getting the idea? Is this making your head hurt a little bit? And then if you need roux to add to those pints of broth to make those cups of gravy, well, how much roux do you need by weight? Well, you're going to make the roux. How much clarified butter do you need to make that amount of roux by weight? And clarified butter comes from whole butter. So how much whole butter at a 75% yield do you need to clarify to get the amount of butter that you need to make the roux that will go with the pints of broth that will make the cups of gravy that will serve 16 people? Do you see why I lose students? Sometimes they just get up and walk out the back door. That's way too much math for me. And I'm not trying to scare you off with it. But I want to give you the idea that this is what goes into running a professional restaurant. This is what goes into running a catering company, because if you make twice as much of something and you have to throw it out at the end of the night, that's a break even. You just worked, you budding personal chefs and catering company owners out there, you just worked 10 hours that night, or however many hours. You went home, you did all those dishes, and you made nothing. Zero. Break even for it, because you didn't understand the math behind it. You didn't understand the portioning that goes into it. And this is something that I can help you with. Help home chefs out there, carefree cooks everywhere, because like I said, you might not be cooking the rest of the year, and you are for the next 2 weeks. And people are coming from everywhere to look at your cooking, and be honest, you think they're scrutinizing it, don't you? So we're going to make it the best ever. And we don't want to run short, right? That's one of the most horrible things, is running out of food. Everybody's petrified of that. But in the same term, you don't want to make so many leftovers that you've spent twice as much money. And of course, leftovers mean the time in preparing and cooking them, but they then mean the time in putting them in plastic bags or plastic wrap, putting it in your refrigerator, using some of it maybe, but most of the time it goes in the trash, and there's your wasted money. And this is one of the most horrible parts of waste that goes into our holidays, because so much of us have so much abundance and so many others don't. And it hurts me to see wasted food. I used to work with different organizations with my catering company. I don't want to mention who they are offhand, but I would donate food because they were feeding others. But a good caterer and a good home chef can get their portions right to the right side. So here's my tips for you. This is the holiday portioning guide that I wanted to share with you. Number one, know your portions before you shop. And really, all of holiday cooking, of precise holiday cooking, of not running out and not running short, comes down to this culinary math. Not as confusing as what I showed you and what I hit the culinary students with, but if you think about knowing your portions before you shop, don't eyeball this all at the store. At least sit down at your table, at your computer, and come up with some basic portion sizes. Standard portion sizes for average adults. Now, you might have heavier eaters, you might be lighter eaters, but in general, if you have a protein, it's the ham, the turkey, the chicken, the protein, the steak, the poultry, the pork chops, on average 5 ounces or 140 grams per adult. So keep that in mind as you're starting to portion, because I'm going to show you a way to do this. Again, if you have bigger eaters, make it 6 ounces. If you purposely want leftovers for those great turkey sandwiches the next day, then yes, make it 7 ounces or 8 ounces or whatever you might want. A starch, things like your potatoes, your grains, pastas, generally 4 ounces or 115 grams. Then we've got vegetables, about 2 ounces. Man, that doesn't sound like a lot, but vegetables are very light, number one, and I'm going to prove a point to you in a minute. Salad mix, if you're having salad, the greens, the tomatoes, things like that, again, about 2 ounces. Stuffing, dressing, about 3 ounces or 85 grams. You're going to do some kind of fruit chutney, right? A cranberry sauce, apple sauce, something like that. Again, about 2 ounces or 55 grams. Gravy, 4 fluid ounces of gravy, 118 milliliters of gravy. So you've got all these ideas first of how much you're going to eat. Now, I know so many of you are looking at that list right now and you're saying, really, only 2 ounces of vegetables? Or my friends in the UK are saying only 55 grams of 85 grams of stuffing? That sounds like so little. But remember, this is one person eating this. This is per person. The average human stomach can handle about 10 ounces or 280 grams. Okay, maybe a little more, maybe a little less for your family. So 10 ounces is what people can handle. Add up 5 ounces of protein, 4 ounces of starch, 2 ounces of vegetable, 2 ounces of salad, 3 ounces of stuffing, 2 ounces of fruit chutney, 4 ounces of gravy. That's 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's 22 ounces. That's twice as much as will fit in the human stomach. And this is where people eyeball it. They go, oh, that just doesn't look like enough. Well, yeah, when you just look at the broccoli casserole, it seems like you're going to need a lot more, but people are eating a lot of other items on here and the stomach fills up. So really what we want to do, let me get back to where I was. There we go, with the slideshow. Go hunt your turkey down now. Let's start with that protein, because turkey prices go up the closer you get to the holiday. Get your turkey prices now. Here's some turkey buying tips, all right? So we're starting with a raw item, and the culinary math that I was showing you, if you're an executive chef or a catering company owner, I showed you how there's trim loss, cut loss. So it's the same thing comes when you have your turkey. You want to purchase 1 to 1.5 pounds or up to 680 grams of raw whole bone-in turkey per person. Now, Chef Todd, you just told me that it was only 5 ounces. Now you're telling me 1.5 pounds? Well, no. You can expect a 20% cooking loss as fats render, as proteins coagulate, as moisture evaporates, 3 of the 4 effects of heat on food. You can expect up to a 40% carving or trim loss. There's a lot of fat you don't eat. There's a lot of skin you don't eat. You don't eat the bones, for goodness sake, but you still paid for them in the per pound. So 1 pound to 1.5 pounds of whole bone-in bird will yield about 10 to 12 ounces or 325 grams of edible portion. That's certainly enough for the meal. That's certainly enough for the leftover turkey sandwiches or anything that you want to do with the leftover turkey. So this is how you go about it. You go about it with a calculator, not eyeballing it. This can save you half of your grocery bill. Because if you're pushing the shopping cart through the store and you're just like, oh, that looks good. Oh, that looks good. And you're throwing all this stuff in here, you're eyeballing it. You know you're going to buy twice as much, which takes you twice as much time to cook, which takes you twice as much time to serve and put away and eventually in the trash. You might as well take that money that you put through the checkout line and just take it home and throw it right in the trash. Unless you start with a plan. Start with a calculator, okay? Just say, I got 20 people coming to my house. Make it a round number. They're going to eat half a pound each. I mean, that's a gigantic amount, but just pick it, okay? And work the math plan from there. You will find that you buy so much less. You have so much less time in cooking less. You have so much less leftovers to deal with. It makes the holiday so much happier. So take this culinary math that I torture my culinary students with and try and take an element of it into your holiday planning this year to at least get some tangible nature to it. One of my favorite questions that I used to ask the culinary students because they were college kids, I would say, okay, you are being accepted into the culinary fraternity on campus. I don't think there's a culinary fraternity. What do they do, bake cakes all day long? So anyway, but you're being invited to the fraternity. And your hazing is that you have to drink 10 cups of beer. But you have to drink it with a tablespoon. How many tablespoons of beer are found in 10 cups of liquid? That was the answer. So you can try and work that one out at home. Your hazing prank is 10 cups of beer with a tablespoon. That was one of my favorite questions. So how's everybody doing out there? Robin's with us from Illinois. That's great. Ivan, hey, how are you? Ivan is with us. Chris Riker. The Velveeta King. Oh, please, I hope you don't mean the cheese-like substance. We can do a nice bechamel sauce, flour, butter, roux, milk, and I've got some great other tips coming up for you. Charles is here. Christopher's with us again. That's good. Jerry's with us. All our favorite people are here. I'm looking for, oh, there we go. Bob, water, pint to pound around the world. Pint to pound, the world around. That's what it is, pint to pound. So is anybody guessing on how much a gallon of water weighs? 8 pounds. Margaret says 8.34 pounds. That's right, gallon of water about 8 pounds. Because pint to pound, the world around, there are 128 ounces in a gallon, which is 4 pints, which is 8 pints, 8 pounds. That's the answer to that. Cool. Who else is saying what? Oh, looks like we lost the video for a minute. Well, that's a shame. Good. Okay, I don't see any real pressing questions in there. So let's see what's going on in our Carefree Cooks community this week. It has been amazing. Everybody's taking a lot of my ideas, a lot of my suggestions for getting ready for great holiday cooking. This is Dominique. Dominique is making free chicken. I love when people make free chicken. Do you want to know how to make free chicken? You can get free chicken. And actually, the chicken breast, the most valuable part, the most expensive part, you can get it for free. If you buy a whole chicken and have some skills with your boning knife, you will find that the whole bird costs less than the boneless, skinless chicken that you'll get. So you'll have the breasts for less. Plus, you'll have the thighs, the legs, the wings, and then you know how to make stock. Then you know how to render some of that fat from the chicken skin and make schmaltz and saute with it, and you get all kinds of free stuff. Well done, Dominique, using your boning knife to break down chicken and get free chicken. Love free chicken. Always love free chicken. Adam, this is his no-fuss chicken using the basic saute method. Last week, I was demonstrating how the basic saute method is the way to cook over and over again. Using basic saute is the way to cook for any diet because you cook the same way, but you just change the ingredients for your needs or desires. And a lot of people in our Carefree Cooks community were doing that this week. Adam's no-fuss chicken saute method, he said, saute the chicken, then he made a mushroom sauce with the deglazed pan. So you get that nice fond in the bottom of the pan. You saute your mushrooms and then you deglaze the pan. The mushrooms kind of cook down and you get a good mushroomy fond sauce with oven roasted broccoli. Nicely done. Padrino Joseph. He's doing the saute method as well. Look at that beautiful color on that chicken. That means the guy knows how to control heat. Heat's got to go up. Heat's got to go down. You got to react to it. I always say that saute is like driving the car. You don't just put your foot on the pedal, grab the steering wheel, and close your eyes, you know? You got to control the heat. So he's got some great color on there. And what was he making? This is his plated chicken with a nice creamy sauce. Again, the deglazing liquid he's using is a milk or a coconut milk, I think it was. Lauren is using a roux. I did a roux lesson this week to make a great mac and cheese for the Patriots game. What could be better than football mac and cheese? Great comfort food for the holidays, for when it's getting colder. Don, this is another great story. And another great thing about basic cooking methods and the basic saute method, Don told us that he was going to make chicken. Well, that sure doesn't look like chicken. So he's like, oh yeah, I had this chicken in the freezer and I came home and I was all set to make, and you go there, has this ever happened to you? And the chicken's not there. You know, you thought you had a pantry item and you don't. So you got to punt, right? Good football reference for the Packers, Don. You got to punt. He had no chicken, he had halibut. Did that change how he was going to cook? No, in Don's eyes as a carefree cook, that chicken was halibut and halibut chicken. But again, look at the beautiful color and the crispiness, the texture. Oh my God, it must have been so good on that piece of halibut. There's a guy that knows how to control the heat with a basic saute method. Lynn was craving potato soup this week and a good stick to your ribs meal, right? So she wanted the potato soup in a bread bowl kind of thing. She knows how to do that, right? 10 steps in the yeast dough production process. She made her own yeast dough rolls. Then she said she sauteed some carrots and leeks in some bacon fat, right? All of saute doesn't have to be butter. Carrots and leeks in bacon fat. Put in some red potatoes, and that's the right kind of potato. There are waxy and mealy potatoes. Waxy potatoes hold their shape. Good call on that one. And then pulled all that stuff out. The bacon fat was still in there. Add some flour to make a roux. Add some half and half and milk. It gets really creamy over a roll. Man, great dish, Jill. Elizabeth's using the saute method as well. Lime, cilantro chicken breasts with sauteed asparagus, mushrooms, and scallions. What is lime, cilantro chicken breasts? I don't know. Go make it up. You know, don't search for a recipe because there is none. This came out of her creativity, her creation. I imagine it's 9 steps in the basic saute method. Pan hot first, some kind of fat hot, protein products, 75% one side, up to 25% the other side. Remove it to a plate. Aromatics, deglaze with liquid, probably lime. Reduce or thicken, add your herbs, cilantro, return the chicken to cook in the sauce. 9 steps in basic saute. That's probably how she did it. Okay, we all know this. This is how carefree cooks cook. Jill did a great pad thai, same type of thing, and another great story for us this week. Jill says she's not a huge fan of Thai food, but her husband is. And I got the feeling her husband was buying like microwave Thai food or maybe even some of the takeout, you know, that you don't control the ingredients. So she decided to make her own version. She had never made Thai food before, but she used our saute method, which is French, to make Thai food. So she sauteed some diced chicken in vegetable oil. She removed it. She kept it warm on a plate. She did a quick saute of minced garlic, green onions. Oh, I love that flavor. Deglazed the pan with lime juice. Added a scoop of peanut butter and coconut milk. Peanut butter, coconut milk, lime juice. What a great combination of flavors. She let it reduce while she cooked some noodles and plated it up with some peanuts there. So there you go. No takeout, no microwavable pad thai, healthier because she controlled the ingredients, probably done quicker than you can get takeout. Beautifully done, Jill. Great example of using the saute method. And saute is everywhere. Tanya did a great orange chicken with asparagus. That was beautiful. Connie did shrimp and grits. You know, this is with the same 9 steps. This is the same steps again and again and again. And look at what everybody's cooking. That's why we cook by method and not by recipes. And did you catch the cook along this week? Did you see where I did the roux? We were doing dark roux. If you haven't seen that, you need to go find that either on my Facebook page or Pinterest or Instagram. So I showed everybody how to make a dark roux ahead of time for your Thanksgiving gravies. And boy, everybody jumped on it. There it is. That's the episode from last week. We made those roux cubes, and Michael, he did his brown roux. That looks really good. Barbara did her roux cubes. This was a funny story too. Barbara made the roux cubes, and she's like, well, I don't know what I'm ever going to use this for, right? This is what she told us. I made the roux. I don't know what I'll use it for, so I put it aside, and I went about making a stew. And the stew was really, really thin. And I was like, oh, how am I going to thicken this stew? That's what the roux is for. So she took the roux cubes, and she solved a problem that she didn't know she had previously. That's why you make the roux. That's great, Barbara. Janet is making her roux. That looks really good. A little bit lighter. That'll make lighter sauces, but it'll thicken more. James is making his roux as well. Everybody is getting in the roux canoe for the holidays. I don't know where that came from. So this is the way we're cooking here. This is what our Carefree Cooks community is looking like this day. It's just so much fun to be free in your cooking, to cook for any want, any need, any have to, because the methods never change. So we got to our true or false today. Remember the true or false? You should always bring meat to room temperature before cooking it. Oh my goodness, false. No, Grandma. No, great grandma. This is unsafe, okay? What it basically comes down to is the temperature danger zone of food is 40 degrees Fahrenheit to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Food should be kept chilled at below 40 degrees Fahrenheit or cooked up to over 165 and held at 140. So it's a 40 to 140 thing Fahrenheit. I don't remember the Celsius offhand. When you let something sit out on a counter and it gets to 70 degrees and 80 degrees for hours at a time, potentially bacteria can grow, and bacteria doubles every 20 minutes, okay? So this holiday, don't sit that turkey out in the garage unless it's in an ice bucket. Don't put those steaks out on the counter. Keep them in the refrigerator. And plus, from a cooking standpoint, you want quick reaction of the heat to food. You don't want the food to like slowly heat up. You want it to go from way one to way the other. So I would recommend keeping your items at 40 degrees or below and not letting that bacteria grow. Now, so look, here's the other thing. Beef is not inherently dangerous. It's not just because you have beef doesn't mean it's going to make you sick. But the people that handled it along the way, and it was frozen at the grocery store and then defrosted and then frozen again, or maybe a guy with dirty hands touched it, or I don't know what happened along the way, but I don't leave it out on a counter. That's really not what you want to do today. So what else is going on in our community here? Yes, Harleen got 8 pounds correct as the answer to how much does a gallon of water weigh. Who else is talking to us here? No more questions. Oh, do you make your roux with clarified butter? Good question, Joan. You can make the roux with clarified butter. This will give it a lower smoke point because when you clarify butter, you take the milk solids out. The milk solids burn at a lower temperature than the butter fat does. So yes, you can make your roux with clarified butter, but when you clarify butter, you get a 75% yield. 12 ounces of clarified butter from 1 pound of butter, so you have to consider that as well. But it's a great idea. Or ghee, we talked about using ghee. Charles makes his roux with regular butter. That's fine. That's good. Everybody guessing. That's good. Some people saying that I make leftovers on purpose. That's great. That's fantastic. Hey, everyone, this has been great. I love being together on Tuesdays. If you like what we talked about today, if you know someone that makes way too much food at the holiday, you might want to share this video with them. Like it. Give me the hearts. Give me the loves. That's how more people get to see this. That's how I can help more people at the holiday not be left short or left over, but be like Goldilocks. Just right. Thank you so much. And if you want your own 5-step plan for reducing your stress, increasing your confidence, saving money, and saving time, you need to take my free holiday cooking success class. It's going on now. Go to webcookingclasses.com/turkey. webcookingclasses.com/turkey is where you can join the next installment of the Holiday Cooking Success Class. Totally free to you. You'll get some great ideas about portioning. You'll get a 5-step plan and explode the confidence in your kitchen. Thank you. It's raining hearts. It's raining thumbs up on me. I so appreciate it. I really appreciate the love. We're going to be together again next Tuesday. Until then, make sure you stay by your computer because I'm popping up everywhere. Anytime I think of a new cool thing to share with you about holiday cooking, that's what I do. So stick around. Thank you, everyone. Chef Todd Moore reminding you that there's a method to your cooking success. And we'll see you soon.